What's up, everybody? It's Owen Donath again from Fabby River Farms, and if you'll just bear with me, I've got a 7-year-old holding the camera. He's my cameraman today, so just bear with me. And I wanted to go through the next video and just kind of show you the progress that I've made, and then finish it all up, put the seedlings in and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and, since we have really poor lighting, I'm gonna go ahead and shine this light in there. So hopefully, Weston, does that look good in the camera? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did basically is I linked all these lights together, these LightEver lights, and I got them in a 4-pack kit. Okay, so as you can see here, I got 550 cord, which basically is what the military uses for parachutes. And I just had a whole bunch laying around. I have tons of it, and it's all unraveled and everything, so I thought I'd use it up. And so I just tied these up, and I put zip ties. As you can see here, I put zip ties around the lights. It's fine, still recording. I put zip ties around the lights and then just hung them on there, so I can kind of adjust like this, and if I need to adjust the height later, I can just untie these and bring them down. You can use screws if you want it to be more permanent, or you can use these little adhesive things they have if you have something to stick to, but this is like a wire mesh. This is like a wire mesh deal here, so didn't really have a place to actually put the adhesives or the screws. So I went with the string and the zip ties. It's less permanent, but that's okay because I'm just kind of seeing if this works and how well it works. Notice I got the foil, the thermal blanket around, just keep heat in. And once I get everything finished, I'm still working here on this third shelf. And I'm just putting the zip ties on and about to hang this next light. And then I link these. They have these little male and female adapters, and they just plug together. And then you bring this up and you screw it on, you know. And it's a pretty good way to link all these lights up to the same deal. So once I get a little further, I'll update you and let everybody know and show you the final product. What we're doing here is we're just using a little junk mechanical pencil, and I'm going along. I'm gonna have these kids do it here, and I'm just jamming in a little hole for the seedlings, and then I'm gonna have them drop a seed in each hole, and we're gonna do that to all these seed beds, and then we'll set everything up. Okay, so as you can see, we got a light right over the top of these seedling trays on every single shelf. All right, and the lights are suspended by 550 cord, parachute cord, and I can untie them and I can drop them down. I can put them up. You know, they're able to adjust. So I've got some cardboard on top of the heating mat there. I know it's a little dark, but there's a heating mat that I have underneath of each one of these. And so the cardboard's there basically so when I spray water in there, it's just gonna soak it up just a little bit so it doesn't ruin those pads or you know, get water and moisture and mildew on the pad. So it's just kind of protecting them and building up the shelf life. Also keeps dirt from falling between the shelves, which isn't a huge deal, but just helps with the mess. So I got my thermal blanket, and then it's got enough of a flap that when I want to, I can partially close it, which I will do. So each light is connected, and they just basically kind of wrap around. And then at the end, down here, I just have a plug. It's just a dummy plug, just to keep dirt and stuff out of it. So with these zip ties, I've realized that the easiest way is to make sure that you have the part that connects together and slides on at the very top, and then put that 550 cord in the middle, and that way they won't rotate at different angles that you don't want it. It'll keep them directly onto the seed trays, and you can kind of adjust. There's room, so you can kind of adjust your seed trays to be directly under the lights. So here I have the probe for the thermostat, and I tried my best to kind of keep all these cords all together. So I've got, this is the power to the lights. Now, I don't have it yet. It plugs directly into the wall, so I'll have to unplug it and plug it in. But I do have a timer at my other house that I got to bring over. So that cord will go directly into that timer, and I can actually set it to go off and on at different times. So I'll go ahead and set it for about 18 hours of light, and then I'll just, it's like got little tabs, and I'll show you when I get it, and that you just press down, and so basically it's just the timer. The timer works and shuts the light off. You know, it breaks the electrical circuit to the power, so that, you know, you don't have to mess with it, and it basically turns it on and turns it back off when you need it, in case you forget, so you just don't have to do it in case I can't be here, whatever. So the thermostat is hanging on the wall here. Vivasun is the brand. So all of my lights, actually, I'm sorry, all of my heat pads, they all plug into this. You know, it's just a normal power strip. The power strip plugs into the thermostat, and then the thermostat plugs into the wall. I can set this thermostat to whatever I want. Right now it's at 57.2 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what, you know, I just plugged this thing in, so it's still warming up. And so I can set that. Now this is where I have it set at 75, and I may go up a little bit, you know, dependent, but I think 75 is a pretty good germination temperature. So to set it, I just hold down on set. It'll start blinking like a normal watch or whatever, what have you. And then I can go up and down for the temperatures. So pretty self-explanatory there. And that's in a good place to, you know, be able to view. So I can, I'm gonna get a spray bottle, you know, and I'm actually gonna have some of the water that I use in my worm bin that comes down to the bottom. You know, I don't know if it's quite the same thing as worm tea. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's basically like the drainage that comes out of the worm. So it's been sitting in that worm bin for a couple days, which is, you know, kind of gets the chlorination or whatever they use during the water processing, for like city water. It, you know, has time for that to kind of seep out of it, and whatever, it goes through that worm bin, it gathers nutrients, things like that. And then I basically turn the faucet, the little turn valve at the very bottom of the worm bin, and I get water. And that's what I'm going to use to spray on these seedlings as they germinate, because it just has so many good nutrients. And I know it's good, you know, organic. So organic. The only thing that's in it is organic and safe for these plants. So I'm going to keep them really moist. I've got this cover for this little greenhouse shelf, and it's going to keep it real humid. And I'll put this around it just to keep more heat in. So they'll be warm. They'll have light, plenty of light. Probably 18 hours is where I'll set it. They're self-sustaining. You know, just got to add a little water and make sure that the soil is wet enough for them to germinate. And I'll keep you updated if you want to go ahead and subscribe, so you can see other videos and see how that goes. I want to add in too that this entire setup was all under $100. So these lights were about $35 off of Amazon. The thermostat and the grow mats were about $35, and this was I think $5 or $10 for this greenhouse stand. This blanket's like 99 cents. Cardboard, of course, is free. The potting soil was left in the house when we bought it, and the seed trays I got a long time ago, and I can't even tell you what I paid, but I think I got like 100 seed trays for like $10 or something. So everything, you know, is pretty cheap. I've been watching out for that kind of thing to get it whenever I can. So if you're interested in this type of stuff and you want to start growing your own food and doing these type of things, then I encourage you to start now trying to gather this type of material. I mean, I have a ton of junk, and it's not great to try to store it, but it is kind of nice when you need it to do these projects. Another thing I'm going to add is that on each one of these shelves, I actually have taped on there. These are extra seeds actually for these lettuce, but you know, I have the names and directions of each thing on there, And that's important, especially if you're selling at market. But even if you're just doing it for yourself, you got to know what you're planting on the ground and what you're, you know, producing. Especially, I mean, it's absolutely mandatory. You can't sell people stuff if you have no idea, you know, what it is. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because it does happen. It happened to me last year. I wasn't going to sell any, but I didn't label anything. And I realized, you know, even though I know the difference between tomatoes and peppers by the leaves and stuff when they're really young, I actually, you know, can't differentiate between, like, you know, Beefeater tomatoes, Roma tomatoes. I have no idea how to tell the difference. So it was a complete surprise. I had no idea where to plant them. They were all randomly all over the garden. It was kind of, I mean, it worked out. I got plenty of tomatoes and stuff, but yeah, like I said, that's just one thing that I overlooked, and hopefully, you know, you learn from me, learn from my mistakes. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and please subscribe, like, if you want to see something else. If you have questions, go ahead and comment. I'll try to answer every single one of them. You know, I work full time, but I will dedicate some time to try to answer them for you. Thanks.